The $100 video game. Yep, that's the time that we're living in now. And Nintendo is kind of the culprit. They're the ones who are pioneering this $100 game as the standard. And with a game like Pokémon ZA launching that is $100 and having day one DLC that's also like $30 on top, this is going to be like if you want the whole experience for that game, you're going to be fronting like $150, depending on what province you live in. Or if you're in the US, it'd be like 100 and whatever after tax or something like that. But you're going to be fronting like a big bill to play this game, the full game, which DLC included in the game, I consider that the full game. To launch a game with DLC on day one is such a bad move, such an anti-consumer move, and we all know it is. And all of us players are still buying the games. I don't know what the hell some of you guys are doing, buying some of these games. Listen, if you want these things to stop, you gotta be the one who stops it. You can't if you don't want something to keep happening, then stop buying the games. And I know I'm talking to some of you out there directly right now. And I'll give you an example, like Mario Galaxy 1+2. That game was, well, obviously it's games for the Wii, and you can get those same games for the Wii, dump them, emulate them if you really wanted to, which is exactly what I did on my Steam Deck. I always point to this. It's the exact thing I like doing. I did it on my Steam Deck. I dumped my own games from my Wii, and they run great. Now, I know they changed a couple things, but that's not really the point I'm trying to make here. The fact that people are still buying these compilations, but they're the same people who are also complaining. What makes this whole thing great is that Mario Galaxy 1+2 is $100 here in Canada. It's $100, and that's before tax. $99.99, the dreaded price tag. Technically not $100 if you look before taxes, but they are 1 cent off. So come on, they're 1 cent off. They're almost there. Nintendo in particular really doesn't discount their games, and I'm sure most of us have fallen victim to paying a full price for a Nintendo game. They just never really go on sale. It's pretty rare to see that. Even with games like Mario Galaxy 1 and 2 on this deluxe version, I don't even see it being printed very much, if I'm being honest. It's one of those kind of more smaller, nicher sort of things that it's more nostalgia driven for the people who did play it on the Wii. But I think it's going to sell very well, even still. And I've heard so many people complain about this game. Well, this compilation. I've heard so many people complain about it. And I'm sure the people who bought it are really loving it. And I'm happy if you love it. And if you bought it with your first time playing it and you don't have it for the Wii, or you don't have it for the Wii, then, so be it. And if you really do just want it on your system and you're going to, you just want the games just to play the actual games, then that's great. But if you want to just own them, and it's not like I see both sides here, but what I really want to dive into is there's just a lot of people out there who complain that Nintendo game pricing is just going crazy. And it really is going crazy. But these people who are also complaining are also buying the games. For me, I was happy dumping Mario Galaxy 1 and 2 from my Wii to my Steam Deck. I was happy. I run it under Dolphin. No issues. The game runs like flawless. It gets 60 frames a second. It looks great. If anything, I could probably push it to 4K, which I think the Switch 2 might do. I don't know. But it could definitely rival it for sure. It runs great. Anyways, I'm getting sidetracked here. The whole point I want to make with this is that you can buy these games again on eBay for cheaper and dump them yourself. You can have both games physically and dump them yourself. And that's just what I want to get behind. I don't think it's smart to go around and complain about video games and just, not back yourself behind it. Like I said, I'm not going to be buying Mario Galaxy 1 and 2 on the Switch. It didn't even release for the Switch 2. It came out on the Switch. It's a Switch game. I don't know why, but that's what they're doing. Another thing I want to get at too is that if everyone collectively keeps buying these games at $100, then it really is going to become the standard. And sadly, everyone is just going to keep buying these games at $100. For me, I would rather go buy the game and emulate it or wait for a Steam sale if I was doing that for a Steam game. I know Nintendo games are different, and that's kind of what I want to talk about too with Nintendo games and how they never go on sale and you kind of have to pay the prices. But in this scenario, you really don't have to pay that price. You can go and get the game and dump it yourself. And it bothers me so much because it just breeds incompetence by some people. It really does. Some people are just so incompetent with this whole thing of they'll go and they'll rant on Twitter and they'll or on X or they'll rant. They'll talk and they'll run their mouth. But when it comes time, they buy the game and that's just how it goes. It's rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat Do you get it? Rinse and repeat. Yeah. Have you ever regretted buying a full price video game? And then realize that, oh wow, it went on sale? I don't think I've ever bought a full price game probably in the last 5 years other than Bonanza. I'm not even joking. That's kind of just it. I've always just been waiting for the sale. The best way to voice yourself is to speak with your wallet. And that's just what I wanted to follow here is I'm not going to be buying the game. And I've made that very clear. I'm not buying this games. I already own the games. I'm very happy with them. And that's just it. And I think if you really want the games and you have some other alternative way to do it, I'd say go and get the Wii versions and dump them yourself. Why not? People justify purchasing these kind of games with, oh, it's only $20 more. But really, yes, it's only $20 more until every game is $20 more. And you showing with your wallet that, yes, I'll pay $20 means you'll pay $20 for every other game that you do. And eventually, it's going to just become $30 more for every game since this point, and then $40. And it just keeps snowballing because the economy has inflation and everything inflates, and that's just how it goes. And more money gets printed and prices go up, and hey, that's just going to keep happening. And they're going to blame tariffs for a lot of these things, but a lot of this stuff is digital, and no, I don't think tariffs are a problem at all for this. I think this is just complete greed on Nintendo's part, and they are leading the way for every other company to follow. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.